pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The 1913 Gettysburg Reunion, according to Wikipedia, was a Gettysburg battlefield encampment of American Civil War veterans for the Battle of Gettysburg's 50th anniversary. The June 29th through July 4th gathering of 53,407 veterans, of which 8,750 were Confederate, was the largest ever Civil War veteran reunion. All honorably discharged veterans in the Grand Army of the Republic and the United Confederate Veterans were invited, and veterans from 46 of the 48 states attended, all but Nevada and Wyoming. Despite official concerns, quote, that there might be unpleasant differences, at least between the blue and gray, end quote, as after England's War of the Roses and the French Revolution, the peaceful reunion was repeatedly marked by events of Union-Confederate camaraderie. President Woodrow Wilson's July 4th reunion address summarized the spirit. Quote, "We have found one another again as brothers and comrades in arms. Enemies no longer. Generous friends rather. Our battles long past. The quarrel forgotten, except that we shall not forget the splendid valor." End quote. After numerous smaller Gettysburg reunions, including the 1906 Philadelphia Brigade Pickett's Division reunion, during which Brigadier General Louis Armistead's captured sword was returned to the South. In April 1908, General Henry S. Hydecoper of Philadelphia suggested a 1913 50th anniversary reunion to Pennsylvania Governor Edwin Sidney Stewart. On September 8th, the Gettysburg National Park Commission met with Gettysburg Bureau officials about the event. Stewart conducted a subcommittee meeting on October 25th, and Stewart addressed the General Assembly on the matter in January 1909. On May 13, 1909, the Pennsylvania Assembly created the 50th anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg Commission, and the Commission's first tentative program of October 13, 1910, included a peace jubilee, with noon July 3rd placement of the cornerstone for a Great Peace Memorial. The August 26, 1912 U.S. Congress bill appropriated $150,000 and directed the War Department to establish the camp. Because the memorial funding was not approved, the Peace Jubilee plans were removed from the schedule. The site for the camp and the 8 acres for the Great Tent west of the Kadoorie House was selected in 1912 and mapped by the Gettysburg National Park Commission. The Park Commission also completed painting of avenue fencing, gun carriages, iron tablets, pyramids, and shells from 1912 through June 30, 1913. On April 13, 1913, the Pennsylvania Commission completed the Pennsylvania State Memorial and also mailed 40,000 veterans invitations. On June 28, President Woodrow Wilson notified the Pennsylvania Commission he would attend the reunion for a very limited period. The 33 contributing states provided a total of $1,033,000 for the reunion, $450,000 of which came from Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Commission headquarters at Gettysburg was at 231 Baltimore Street, with the Harrisburg office of the Secretary, later nicknamed the Duke of Gettysburg, in Pennsylvania State Capitol Room 509. Various commemorative tokens and programs were developed for attendees, including 3 types of Pennsylvania badges: Press, Guest, and Scout. A commemorative medal, and a souvenir program of poems by the attending, quote, veteran scout Jack Crawford. The Pennsylvania Railroad Company added a telephone line between Gettysburg and Hanover along the Western Maryland Railway under which the Pennsy would operate a large number of trains during the battle anniversary. On the Chambersburg-Gettysburg Turnpike and the Gettysburg-Petersburg Turnpike, tolls ended in time for the reunion. On June 27th, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court upheld the 1911 Sproul Roads Act, by which the Commonwealth acquired private toll roads and made them free for the public. By February 1st, 1913, water wells were being drilled for the July encampment, and by June 26th, hotels in Hanover, Chambersburg, Hagerstown, and the Blue Ridge section were filling rapidly. For entertainment, a Gettysburg facility was started in 1912 to display the Boston version of the Gettysburg Cyclorama, Encyclopedia of the American Civil War, a political, social, and military history, and the Battle of Gettysburg black and white film of 1913 was run first at Walters Theater on June 26. This film has since been lost. Local planning for the reunion included expanding the Gettysburg Hackman tax to apply to automobiles, a 50-cent maximum for taxi fares in the borough, and an obscure request from a few Missouri veterans regarding the availability near Gettysburg of, quote, a few good widows or old maids, good housekeepers, and not too young, end quote, to go west after the reunion. The kind-hearted Mayor J.A. Holtzworth agreed to forward photos to the veterans of the, quote, Cupid operations, end quote. The commission planned a 4-day series of events with each day dedicated to a different group. Anticipating that some veterans might arrive early, especially those traveling distances, the Great Camp was opened for supper on June 29th. Pennsylvania veterans who had attended the state reunion, which had adjourned on June 28th, made up most of the more than 21,000 arrivals that day. Other veterans arriving early included 2 Confederate vets of Culp's Hill, who had arrived on June 26th. Captain McCaskey of the Quartermaster's Corps had estimated 6,000 men might arrive on June 29th, and for a time struggled with severe shortages of food and supplies. Some veterans left without staying another night. In more pre-camp activities on June 30th, the 1912 base of the Virginia Monument was dedicated. The remainder of the monument was completed later. On July 4th, which was National Day, the Pennsylvania State Memorial was dedicated. 8 statues had been installed in April as part of it. President Woodrow Wilson arrived at 11 a.m. in a special train car, traveled through the borough, and entered the Great Tent through 2 rows of Boy Scouts. Wilson addressed the audience in the Big Tent about national unity and departed the camp after the national anthem was played. Attendees similarly returned to their quarters. At noon, a 5-minute tribute was held in silence for, quote, our heroic dead, end quote. People throughout the area stood at attention at the College Hotel and Seminary Hotel. The tribute began with a bugle salute blown over the camp while the Gettysburg bells in the distance tolled noon. The remaining minutes of silence were punctuated by periodic artillery firing from the distance. From 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7,147 automobiles, at least one from each state, used the National Park roads as visitors departed. Some 12,000 veterans had left on July 2nd and about the same number on July 3rd. An unusual event took place on the evening of July 2nd at the Hotel Gettysburg. W.B. Henry, a Southerner living in Philadelphia, erupted in violence after saying a, quote, vile epithet, end quote, for President Lincoln, and causing an argument at his table. A Union man threw his drink at Henry, who stabbed and slashed men at the table and on his way out to the street before being apprehended. Henry claimed that his father had been a Confederate general, but that was not verified. The Virginia governor spoke to officials on behalf of Henry. His father, who had been a major in the CSA, posted bail for his son. The victims, all but one of whom was taken to the hospital where all expected to recover, and most were released from the hospital the next day. Dismantling of the Great Camp began immediately after the July 4th tribute. The hospital closed on July 5th, and the last veteran left on July 8th. The annual military instructional camp used a few tents of the veterans camp while encamped at the Meadborough camp from July 7th to August 15th. The quartermaster headquarters on Baltimore Street closed on August 13th, and by August 15th, the entire Grand Camp had been removed, except for, quote, 4 great water storage reservoirs, end quote. A movie, United at Gettysburg, called A Romance, documented the reunion and was shown in some local theaters. Lieutenant Colonel Lewis E. Beetler, Secretary of the Commission, completed the compilation of the organization's reports on the December 31st, 1913. To commemorate the 1913 Gettysburg reunion, a colonial portico was opened in May 1914 at the seminary's old dorm.
Something's coming. Something's coming. Something's coming. Let the games begin. Come walk in my shoes. I done paid all my dues. I got something to prove. All in, nothing to lose. Right now a new day starts. Woke up my brave heart. Stand up and play my part. Like the crowd wave starts. Been patient long enough. Not waiting, I'm bossing up. Life is like a toss up. I tipped it, triple crossed it up. We born to be giant slayers. We shine too bright to shade us or face us. We love the pressure. It's what made us. Something's coming. Something's coming. Something's coming. Let the games begin. I was born for this. From day one I wanted it. We come too far to quit. Ain't no stopping it. I was born for this. From day one I wanted it. We come too far to quit. Ain't no stopping it. Ain't no stopping it. Time to rise up. Time to rise up. Time to rise up. Time to rise up. So let's go crazy, crazy like Prince in the 1980s. Don't play me, I'm not Brady. Too blown, you can't deflate me. Yes, ballin' is my calling. Can't box me out, I'm all in. We built from yes, y'all in. Top of the charts and never falling. It's time, beast mode. Put it on the line, free throws. It's Friday, I'm Debo. Take it back like repo. Got on my headphones, eyes closed in my zone. I've been down this road every time I drove it home. Then set back up again like it's 1st and 10. Only aim to win, let the games begin. I was born for this, from day one I wanted it. We come too far to quit, ain't no stopping it. I was born for this, from day one I wanted it. We come too far to quit, ain't no stopping it. Ain't no stopping it. Ain't no stopping it. Ain't no stopping it. Let the games begin.